Good morning, everyone. Okay, today is the second day of our Global Entrepreneurship Week, Sri Lanka. And this session is started to high school students. And I will be doing the first session, and there will be following up 3 sessions afterwards. Um, yes, let's get started on Introduction to Computer Security. Okay. So, Introduction to Computer Security with partnership with Bug0. So who am I? I am Vatsal Vishidit. I'm an undergraduate at UCSC, interested in computer security and related topics, especially on blockchain. What is security? Let's get an example that we are familiar with and study what it is. Imagine your home and you live in a neighborhood that is constantly being robbed by burglars. How would you protect your home from burglars then? Secure doors with locks that burglars cannot break. Secure windows so that burglars cannot open them from outside. What about roof? Is it secure as you thought it would be? What if they dig under the ground and come to your house? Possibilities are endless. So what is security? We can say protecting a desired property in the presence of an attacker. So far we have talked about how real-world property is breached. What about computers? How a digital information is secured on an electronic device. Computer security, cybersecurity, is a protection of computer systems and network from information disclosed, theft or damage to their hardware, software and or electronic data, disruption or misdirection of a service they provide. This is one such definition. From University of Pennsylvania has this kind of definition with confidentiality, integrity and availability, commonly known as CIA triad. There are many definitions for computer security since this is a field where it is so common and everything is applicable to security. These definitions are different from each other. That doesn't mean they are wrong. Just as a house, in computer security, we have both physical security and information security at hand. We have to protect both data and devices. We have physical security, hardware security, and finally software security. All this to protect information we use. How could we protect all these aspects in computer security? Typically, the easy way to do is we take security as manageable layers so we can focus on fully. As an example, let's say you have a safe with 1 million cash on it and you need to protect it. You wouldn't leave it the safe at the living room. You would like to keep it very close to you. In this case, you thought of keeping it in your room and you would keep it in a safe inside your cupboard in your room. So if a burglar comes, he or she now has to go through all these doors and safes to get your money. This is where the defense in depth concept comes in. You can secure your information or valuables in layers of defenses and secure them deep enough so an intruder cannot simply grab them and go. Also, if you're wise enough, you wouldn't keep all the keys to the doors in a single keyring. You would lose that keyring, all our efforts are to waste. This is what happened in Uber hack recently in September. In summary, this was happened. We all nowadays use at least two-factor authentication to our account. If someone unknown logs into the service they are trying to access, for example, Facebook, sends a PIN code to the mobile number registered for that account. Then we put that PIN code to login screen of the account. This is an example to a fair request from Google. If you have seen this, you know that without the code, there is nothing much more you can do even if you know the password of that account. That's the defense in depth layer we are talking about. An extra layer or a PIN code that keeps the attacker away from gaining access. In the Uber hack, they repeatedly requested these MFA codes and confused the Uber employee. Imagine you are that Uber employee and you have hundreds, maybe thousands of these pin messages. At some point, you're going to be tired of buzzing of the phone. This is what happened with the Uber employee as well. The attacker pretended to be an IT person on Uber and asked to approve the login from MFA so that the message would stop. And good example would this be knocking on your rich neighbor's door at 3 a.m. to open their door, and they open their door just so they can sleep. Okay, now they have access to Uber employee account. It should be okay if they use good secret practice on the organization level, but unfortunately not. That account had access code for all the Uber infrastructure, something that should be kept secret. It's like when the burglar breaks into a living room and all your other rooms are locked, but with the key ring with every room, but the key ring with every room keys in the living room, making it very easy to get the money from the safe. If you want to look more into this, there is a principle called least privilege, where an employee or device get the minimal privileges it needs. Very important in securing an organization. You don't give your janitor of the bank the key to the big safe. So let's talk about securing a company. Physical security, we can use access card to gain entry to the premise. Doors that are locked with either key cards or biometric security. Secured floors that are monitored and especially made for sensitive information and development. But too much physical security will discourage average user too. Let's say your company uses biometric door every 10 steps taken. No one will come to that office again after the first day, and that security system will be a waste of money. In hardware security, this is an advanced topic in security where actors use unusual hardware faults to gain access to the system, reveal encryption keys, and so on. Normally, an average user is not exposed to these kind of attacks, as these are highly niche and for high-profile targets. So now we have come to an important aspect of security. With the internet, there's no really need for a threat actor to be on-premise if it's not really necessary. With the vulnerability or manipulation of the user, he can gain access to a system with malicious intent of gathering information, even sometimes not knowing the password of logged in user. So it's good to get knowledge about keeping good password practices like not doing password reusing. Like reusing the password for every account is like keeping your every key in a single keyring. If like making if someone got an access to one account, chances are they will gain access to other accounts as well using the same password because of your bad password practices. Second, we have updated OS and software. Regularly catch up with vulnerabilities. Every software is riddled with vulnerabilities, but we have to update them. They're fixing it regularly. So we have to catch up with them and get our system safe. And also not introducing shady software such as cracks to our system because those will be also backdoored and unsafe for regular users because all the like ransomware attacks comes from these cracked software installing usually. So also if you're an IT developer in an IT company, you can help by creating secured software. This aspect do belong to the network administration panel. What you do is you basically monitor everything in a network and flags everything suspicious. It's always better to use proactive measures rather than being on a reactive on an incident. So we talked about how to secure an IT company on very brief details. This approach can be used to secure similar institutions, even your home. You just have to go step by step, protecting the layers from unknown threats. Even with those measures, there are plenty of ways to get access. There is a research where researchers access CAN bus of an airplane through in-flight Wi-Fi. This CAN bus is the one that connects navigation air traffic systems together in an airplane. Imagine you are traveling by air and something disruptive happens. Every vehicle nowadays runs on a small scale computer. A Tesla actually has a powerful computer just as your gaming console. Problem with adding a computer into a mix with something that traditionally worked very well mechanically is making it exposed to more vulnerability. In addition to those usual flat tires and engine breakdowns, you will face threats something like this. So, hacker showed to unlock and start drive off with someone else's Tesla car without even the key. This is an actual problem people will face in future with this added smartness in their uses. Again, a 19-year-old security researcher describes how to remotely hack into 25 Teslas. The same house you might like to use these smart devices, smart bulbs, smart fridges, smart door cameras, etc. You surely cannot say you are secured with these devices. There are smart locks in a power outage, there will be a reset to default PIN code. Or there will be a reset button somewhere on the lock itself to unlock. Because lock itself can be unreliable. And how you know what kind of data it transmits to keep your data in service for and for what purpose. Famous case for this is like Ring Camera, where they partnered up with US police, making the video feeds of thousands of homeowners available to police, with little to no concern about privacy of the people, creating a large surveillance network free of cost. Let's say you can remotely access the light of a house and then turn them off on and off as you need it. Combine everything together, you have made your worst nightmare come true. IoT security is upcoming field in a security where you should focus more and be aware. This is two IT jokes here, like tech enthusiastic, my entire house is smart. Tech workers, ones who are be aware of the situation, the only piece of technology in my house is a printer and I keep a gun next to it so I can shoot it if it makes a noise that I don't recognize. And another is S in IoT stands for security. So we have to be aware of it, like when you are doing it. Basically, as university students, you will be working on IoT products as well in the future. Like, be aware of the security aspect very carefully and raise concerns when people ask to make something very not security conscious. The other thing is these attacks can be larger enough to affect more people, even killing thousands. Like one thing like poison city water supply, because those things, even industrial control systems, they are connected, even grid, power grids. Even the famous Stuxnet was targeting Iranian nuclear plants. Like those things can affect much larger population and have very risks. Even if you're an average user, you will be like affected by them. As always, everything comes down to a cost-benefit analysis. No one is 100% secure in the industry. Even from a miracle, you're 100% secure from threats that are available today. In the dawn, there will be new attacks that you are vulnerable. Best and the wisest thing to do is wasting attackers' time that they give up. As a person, let's say you have 4 characters as your password. This password is breakable instantly with the power of computing today. So as I said, what is the least time we can have to get an attacker to give up on us? If you use 10 characters that are mixed with numbers, capitals, symbols, and symbols, it will take 5 months to crack the password. If you use 11 characters, just one more character, as same as before with capitals, symbols, etc., it will take 34 years. Surely no one will try to. If you're not an ordinary citizen. But here's the thing, security is relative. If you're an ordinary person and you don't have enemies, you are likely not to be hacked anyone, even if you have a 4-character password that can be broken instantly. because no attacker will be interested in you. But if you say you're a billionaire or a president of a country, even having a password that is breakable only if they wait for 10 months, they will probably wait for 10 months just to get the password cracked because its value is dependent on the person or the company. So if you are a high level person or a good company, better to take precautions because someone will see you well, see you a valuable target at any given time. So you now might think like, how would you get started on this field? Are you the right person? Are you capable enough? So many questions. I take the house example again for this. Like there are like couple people here, and if I tell you to bring something from living room of this house while it's totally locked down, everyone will act in a very unique way. Some will get access through the front door, some will use the windows, some will dig through the foundation. Being creative is one big qualification for this field. If you want to protect your house from burglars, maybe the best way is to become one. Think like a burglar and see if one, how would you rob your own house? Same logic applies for getting access to information system. Humans are creative species. We can't think and process. We can think and process and gathered information and act in very different ways to get the same task done. This diversity is very important in this field. So what are the roles in computer security? We have a lot of roles in computer security. Like there are many not listed here. Like if you are going to search like every field there is a computer security and security related field, not just computer security related field on every industry out there. So we have analyst and auditor. It's an entry level field. Penetration tester. This could be physical or digital or both. Security researcher. These roles from academia and R&D departments in the industry, and a lot of vulnerabilities come from these because these people try new things, different things, and find flaws in the systems. Secure coding developer. If you're a software developer, like cybersecurity architect, cybersecurity consultant, the list goes on. There's a special role called bug bounty hunters where you can test the vulnerability of an application, much like trying to gain access to locked away house, trying to find loophole in the application log, etc. So this is a role where there is little to no prior knowledge needed, but if you have to be curious and eager to, you have to be curious and eager to learn. No age restrictions are there. 10-year-old do this and make a good side income. That's actually full-time bounty hunters. So where would you learn to be a bug bounty hunter? Mostly it is a self-learning process. There's a lot of online resources like YouTube, blogs, Burbsuit, Web Academy, and there will be separate talk on this later today as well. So this boy discovered a flaw on Instagram and made $10,000 by reporting it to the Facebook, the parent company of Instagram. So age is really not the problem. Where would you learn to be one? There are actually limitless resources and learn bug bounty from like YouTube for free. Personally, I follow these channels on YouTube for learning to be a bug bounty hunter. The Cyber Mentor has interviews on other bug bounty hunters, shares tips about bug hunting. Stoic has also shared knowledge on bug bounty, partnering up with the fellow bug bounty hunters. IPSET shares vulnerability exploitation videos on training platforms like Hack the Box. Inside a PhD, more often beginner-friendly channels. The content is very easily understandable. So follow these channels and get the knowledge. We have our own YouTube channel, Bug Zero, and this session will be uploaded. So make sure to check on that too. But only practice makes you perfect. So you may ask where to get practice and learn and make money. There are a lot of platforms out there, and Bug Zero is a Sri Lankan bug bounty platform that you can learn and gain experience on. You can select a web application to test your skill and gain experience. There will be a separate show for this as well, where we like demonstrate the Bug Zero platform. So being a bug hunter for even part-time can be quite sustainable income if you work hard. With a lot of knowledge, people make average income for $500. Money won't follow easily. You have to practice and be creative. So this will be the end of my session. If you have questions, let's use your chat or uh, raise your hand so we can unmute you. Like,
Yeah, we encourage you to ask questions because today's session on introduction to computer security graduates. So we expect that you would ask questions from us and clear your.
okay. And also, I wanted to show like there are many. Um, I talked about these platforms that you can training platforms. So I will show them for you. Like this is Hack the Box, where you can like learn penetration testing on Windows and Linux machines, and this platform is really helpful to learn the basics, and also a very it can be there are very advanced topics as well. So and Try Hack Me is another beginner. This one is a beginner friendly platform. Like you have like learning paths where you can follow along, introduction to cybersecurity and junior penetration tester as and also like they have modules se- for separate tools that we use. So Burp Suite, Metasploit. These are like bite-sized modules that you can like do on a evening in your leisure time. So it's very convenient. Web Security Academy is like a really good platform for web application security. So if you are a bug bounty hunter, like uh, this material will be very helpful to you. So I wanted to show that as well. Okay.
Vishwa, I think we can show them some of the materials that you've been using, like an example, right? We have some more time.
Sorry if I can see that again.
Yeah, I think since we have some more time with us, like we can share some of the material with them, right?
Okay. Um,
I think like we can show them some of the YouTube channels that you and some of the channels that who like in Twitter, some of the channels we can show them so that they get some understanding and if they are interested, they can reach out to us. And of course, right now you can. I mean, since you know like you have questions right now, and you have to ask them. Feel free to raise your hand and we will unmute you. If you if you are not like if you do not want to can send a message or to Vishwa or to the chat. We'll answer your question too. Any kind of question, like there is no simple question. You can, like if you want to know like what is like, you can ask it and we will give you an answer. And for the in the chat, I will add our email address as well. Contact us anytime.
It's support@bug0.io.
Right, Ishan, can you show them like some of the YouTube channels? Like,
Okay. Um, yes. So like this is like a simple Google search away, like top 10 best security YouTube channel to learn on cybersecurity. So as I said, like IPSec is there, Cybermentor is there. Let's see. John Hammond. John Hammond is like a try hack. He does like think try hack me streams of this on this website, how to tackle these problems. If I remember correctly, like while it's loading, Flow is a really good channel that you should follow. Like he does this pausing and stuff, like really advanced for me, even for me. So it's again a good channel, good content, like and really enjoyable content as well. Like not like and like it's kind of like enjoying a leisure time with some education. Oh, so what it does is like a whole manual analysis part, like and he does CDF write-ups. CDF write-ups, CDFs are like this kind of style boxes or like these kind of machines like that are these are like puzzles for the computer uh, security persons, like really interesting ones that keeps you engaged, like and keep you updated, like things. So CDFs are a very good way to um, practice your skills. So you got binary exploitation, cryptography, forensic, and reverse engineering, like many ways. And there's web security as well. So 46 videos on that. If you go there, so SQL injections, Pico CDF, again, a good CDF platform. I haven't talked about CDF, so like CDF is like, again, puzzle kind of things for the security experts, like cdftime.org. So this is kind of like a dashboard of all the capture the fact games on the world. So there are upcoming events, like these things are kind of what do you call it? Again, puzzles that you can just try and solve. Like there will be definitely, and also there are write-ups for how did they solve this particular CTF. So like there are a lot to learn from these CTF.
Yeah. Now we have a question. What do we prefer, burp suit or strap? So
Okay.
in my personal opinion, both are good. But the thing is, like, burp suit is a commercial product. It's closed source. So when we are using this burp suit, we will, if we are not paying a license fee, we will get the free communication. So it's some kind of restriction in the features there. But when we are discussing about the OS product, the SAP, the said attack, basically a community product. So there will be like some kind of a difference between both. If you know what are you going to tools, there is no very big difference between those tools. Like want to use certain features, they are both identical in those two tools. But the preference, people like to use open source tools, some people don't like use open source tools, like it's your personal preference. So but in my opinion, like, if you are bounty hunting, finding vulnerabilities in softwares, you should start with burp suit, because it's more the community, like more people use it. So if you have a question, you would definitely get an answer in. So I think you should start with burp suit, but this is my opinion. Some people will disagree with me with that. And later today, uh, start with burp suit in finding vulnerabilities. So I invite you all to stay with us, so you can learn how to find vulnerabilities using burp suit. I think this answered your question, right? So anyone else? Yes, yes, yes. So thank you very much for asking question. Yes, yes. There is another question. Use Ubuntu for pen testing as well as Kali Linux. The difference I see as Ubuntu and Kali Linux means that Ubuntu is not built for pen testing because it's like general purpose, but Kali Linux is built for pen testing, so it has the created basically for pen testing tools. They are pre-installed. That's the only difference between Ubuntu and Kali Linux. So yeah, there are like semantic differences, like underneath this, or like this. Other than that, Ubuntu, you can find the same tools in Ubuntu as well. If you cannot use it, there definitely there will be some kind of an alternative to these tools as well. More familiar with Ubuntu system, you can install the tools that you want. Like suppose Nmap tool in Kali Linux, you can also install Nmap tool as well. Use Ubuntu with the Nmap tool, and there will be many tools like Metasploit and other things. So you can also install them in your own Ubuntu machine as well. So there is no way between using uh, this kind of distro for using tools and to use these. There is no like very hard and fast rule to use testing. You can use any kind of a tool. You can even use your Windows. You would end up in trouble. Some of the tools are not written for Windows platforms, but you can work around it. There are some workarounds, but if you are interested in, we can share some resources with you as well. I think does that answer your question?
So like to add to that, like I I would like to use Ubuntu for pen testing, because with Kali Linux it's like there are like thousands of tools that even like there will be like a lot to learn. Like here is like the Kali Tools org, that where like if you can see, like, these are the tools that are installed and comes with on Kali Linux, right? So what I personally would do is, like, I install the tools whenever I want. If I want to use John, I install John on Ubuntu and go on with that, because there are a lot of tools installed on the Kali Linux that I kind of feel insecure, because let's say Kali Linux is a toolbox, right? So what if someone gain access to my Kali Linux box and he would be like getting all the tools that are already installed on my box? Because here's the thing: you are pen testing, you are a hacker, and there are other hackers as well on the world. So, like, it's Kali Linux is like a quick way to get up and running. But if you're doing it pen testing for a long time, I think it's better to stay with the Ubuntu installation and keep on adding tools as you need it, because it's kind of like a secure way to doing that, in my personal opinion. So if you want to check out the Kali tools, Kali org/tools, there are the tools that are installed in the Kali itself. So, and you can go and check their repositories as and like source codes and stuff as well. So that's my 2 cents on that. Okay. Any other questions? Can I create a tool on Linux? Yes, of course. Like, if you write in Python, you should be able to execute on anywhere. So not it shouldn't be a problem actually. Customizing tools is like a really good thing. Like, I really encourage you to do that. You're writing your own tools is like learning stuff and learning way better stuff than using the tool. Like, refer some tools for Termux Android. Termux. Okay. Termux is like you are using your phone, or like it would be on law specifications. So on Termux, you can use Nmap. Nmap is like basic host scanning tool. So Nmap is good. Other things you can try with like something like not so resource incentive tools that are in like the IR listing, something like that, directory search, something like this on the Termux, I think you can install. So there are not many tools that like you can install on an Android installation. So keep in mind on that, like you don't have much storage also on those phones. There are tools like you can install these or these, like, but you're basically limiting yourself on a Termux Android. Do you have any more questions? Is it Code Red a good platform to learn? I haven't heard about it. EC Council, okay. I don't see why not. Seems like it got some classes and skill classes also. Like, yeah, we can try that. Anywhere is good as long as you like the content and you keep learning. So it's fine. What are the most wanted skills that I want to improve to become a cybersecurity specialist? Nipuna, can you answer on that question?
So if you want to become a cybersecurity specialist, there are several ways. Even I can give you I'm not a cybersecurity specialist, so I'm not be the qualified to this question. But I have like this kind of map. So I will share that roadmap with these participants as well. So first, you need like when you want to become a specialist, the things like you have to learn some of the stuffs about how software works, how computer networks work, things like that, how the internet works. So how some of the hardware works. So you have to have some kind of a basic, and like want you have to have like, some kind of thorough in-depth knowledge about these areas. But there are some kind of security certificates as well, but I am not quite sure to recommend one to you. I think we can get back to you with the security specialist. But for now, if we are like we have to even to take 1,000 journey, you have to start with a simple step. So at the first step, you can take is to learn some of the basic things in uh, computer security and networks and software development, things like that. You can start with them. Like most basically, I would say you should start with software development, like how websites work, how internet like look into web development and computer networks. In that way, you will be more familiar with networks and how stuff we see on the internet works. That's my understanding, but others can pitch in as well from our side. We most definitely will share references with you at the end of the session or end of the day today as well. So I think Vishwa, we can we have another question. What is the role that reverse engineering took in cybersecurity? So when we are discussing about the reverse engineering, it means that you get some kind of a source code, but it's in in a package sense. So you don't get the exact source code. So you have to use some tools, so your own written tools to reverse engineer the packaged software to see underneath it to see the source code. So you can use like some tools there for if you want to reverse engineer Android application, there are tools. Web JavaScript web application, there are tools. You use those tools. The when you're discussing about the role in cybersecurity, like when we are and get exact source code from the specific software, you can read that software and you can find if there are any vulnerabilities. Like if you are familiar with how certain vulnerabilities are written in the code base, you can see that they are in exactly they are in source code as well. So you can pinpoint that vulnerability, and if you are a bug bounty hunter, you can use that knowledge to submit a report and get rewarded as well. But if you are in cybersecurity as well, so you can report that to your organization as well. That's the some of the like a basic role in cybersecurity as well. So we can move on to the next session. I think Vishwa, is it all from your side? Shall I
Yeah,
start?
thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you for listening and asking questions. It was really helpful for us. Like you're able to be answer your questions. So keep them asking.
Yeah, yeah. If you now, thank you for your informative presentation, and I hope our participants learned many things from our side. And for now, move. So, first of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Entrepreneurship. I'm so. Let me share the screen. So, a quick reminder: if you have a question, please raise your hand or drop a chat. Stop my presentation and answer the question. You don't have to wait until the presentation is over. I hope my screen is visible to you.
Yes, we can see this one.
Vishwa, is my screen visible to you?
Yes, it is visible.
Yeah. So today we are going to discuss how to hack a web application uh, in this context. When I say hacking means we are not going to do bad things. Like hacking means we are trying to break this software and find find a way to how to break this software, but not going to harm anyone. We can harm anyone, but we are not choose to harm anyone because we are responsible people. So let me go a quick overview of today's session agenda. First, I will show a demonstration of our Bug Zero platform, so you can start today as well to become your journey into a bug bounty hunter. Then I will discuss about how to hack a web application, and then I will show you a hacking demo, an interesting one. We will try to hack an account and get their personal access token, like a password, and then we will get the entire full access to the user's account, and we will demonstrate that we have the complete access to this user's account, like the victim's account. So for the bug zero demo, I will go through these following steps. I will show you what is the way to register, how to register in our platform, and I will discuss about the programs, and I will discuss about what is a program policy. I will discuss about the zero fee and how to submit a vulnerability report, and then I will discuss about what's next from this point of. You registered in our platform, you've seen have read program policies, you have seen zero fee, you know how to submit a report, but discuss about that today as well. So this is our platform. We will share these links with you in the chat. So when you are going to our platform, you can see that you can sign in as two users, as a hacker or as a organization. So since you are going to join as a bug bounty hunter, you can join as a hacker. All we need from you to register in our platform is your name. You can use your own name, like your personal name, but if you prefer, you can like use any kind of name, because most of the famous hackers they don't use their own name, they use some kind of nickname. So we don't need to worry about that. So you handle, we need your handle. Handle means your username. You can use your Facebook, your Twitter username, or you can use anything you want. So next, we want your email address. Then give us your country, and we need your password. And then finally, you have to agree to the bug zero's terms and conditions. What we are basically asking you to agree is that when you are finding a vulnerability of a program, you abide by the program policy, and you are not from that program. So, and in addition, you have to abide some kind of rules or regulations or any kind of message sent by the organization, like the program you are finding vulnerabilities. They will ask you to do this or not. I will discuss about them next. So once we create the program, once we create out, we can log in. Let's for the time being, I will log into my own account. Let's see. So for this, I will, what are the programs? The programs are the ones that you are going. So we have currently several programs like Guru, Pay Here, and Root Sona, Web Telescope, and our own vulnerability program as well. So let's say we are going to find vulnerabilities in this program. I think yeah. Yeah, we have it right here. So let's say we have this is our own vulnerability program. Like your platform is an entity. So if you you can find vulnerabilities in it as well, and then I will discuss about this policy. So as let me increase the font size so that you can read and you can also read this from your own leisure time. I will link on the chat because this is it's very important when we are discussing about working with the bug bounty program, because when we are working with the bug bounty program, this policy is where you are discussing with the bug bounty program owners. This is the main interface that you are communicating. So this is where that they are asking you what not to do. So in our this bug zeros bug bounty program policy, so but we are asking you as hackers to not to do these things. Like we don't want you to do DOS spamming, social engineering attack, and physical attacks. So and there are certain things as out of scope, like when you are working on your way in bug hunting in platforms, you can view those videos which I mentioned. You will see these things like how to find these rate limiting vulnerabilities. Like they are very famous and very common. You can find all these mentioned vulnerabilities in any given website. So since these vulnerabilities are very common, these vulnerabilities are already fixed in our platforms. So we don't want you to waste your time trying to follow these, but on your own time, always learn how to vulnerabilities as well. To but for the time being, when we are working with our bug bounty program, we don't want you to do these kind of things because they are already fixed or they are not present in our web application. So this is out of scope, like we ask you not to do. So the eligibility criteria means the vulnerability reports, how the vulnerability report should be reported, and we definitely stress this that report should be unique, because if you are submitting a vulnerability a duplicate one, like you are reading our own vulnerability report and then you are I will show you yeah I will show you in the next one. Like if you are copying someone else's work and do it, like submit it as your own work, it's highly discouraged by us, because it will also result in removing your 0 points. That we are registering in our platform and submit reports, we will give you some kind of a thing called 0 points. So it will be the way how you get in like get in top as the lead in the leaderboard. So if you want like the best in bug zero, you have to be unique, have to find good vulnerabilities, and you have to unique. So the next thing we want to do is like all the vulnerabilities should be in the program scope, and you should have the vulnerability report in I will show you how to submit a report in the next moment. So also you have to follow this. You should not disclose the vulnerability before then ask you to do, because sometimes you find a vulnerability in a certain web application or their own system. But the thing is, the organization might take some time to fix that vulnerability because they have other developments as well and they have to prioritize. So if you are like making that vulnerability public, you are no better than a hacker. You do the same thing. You find a vulnerability, make it public. So we ask you to not to public it before we are going to publish it from our side, like from the bug zero side or any program. So that's the basic idea of the program policy. So then we can discuss about the scope. Like scope, there are two types: in scope and out of scope. In scope, we mean that these are the platform that you can find vulnerabilities. Like bug0.io is our own domain, it's on servers, so you can find vulnerabilities in it. You can submit that vulnerabilities to us, and you are eligible for bounty. But we have another domain, blog.bug0.io. It's hosted on Medium servers, so we do not own the servers. So we have no control over any vulnerability in the blog.bug0.io. Vulnerability hunting, like bug bounty hunting in that server. We haven't given you any permission to do it, because Medium hasn't given us any permission to do from our side. So it's vital that you abide by these rules. Like you only find vulnerabilities in these this in scope vulnerabilities, but you should be avoiding any out of scope domain source code. To you should not find vulnerabilities in the that means out of scope section. So I show you how to submit a report. So all you have to do is click this submit report button, and then you will redirect this page. So currently you have to fill this, but you don't have to worry about what is this bug. I will discuss about them. First, let's see that there is a vulnerability in bug0. And for the time being, I will be using this scripting vulnerability. There is a bug type called cross-site scripting. I will show you how to find a cross-site scripting vulnerability and what is a cross-site scripting vulnerability, how to exploit that cross-site scripting vulnerability as well. If you want to learn more about what is this bug type, there are several bug types. There are, I mean, hundreds of bug types here. I think there are thousands of bug types, but we have omitted some of the uncommon bug types as well. You can learn everything and in YouTube or some reading materials. We will share them at the end of this session. And since we are building in this bug0.io website, from your own knowledge about cross-site scripting, you know that cross-site scripting vulnerability can lead to some critical vulnerabilities. So you say that this vulnerability is critical. That's we don't need to build this CVSS version 3 calculator. This is meant to be some kind of a veteran. So if you know these attack vectors, attack complexity, privilege requires these things, you can select them as well. But we don't expect as like novice, like bug bounty hunting the new people. We don't want you to worry about these things. We just want you to like have some kind of basic under level and set it in the threat level as critical, high, or low. Yes, I think Shafraz has raised hand. So do you have a question? Yeah, I think I can unmute.
Sir,
Yeah, yeah, you can unmute. Now you unmute. You can ask your question.
sir, I want to know, do you do UI bugs fixing?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I cannot clearly
Are you
hear
using
your
are you
question.
fixing UI bug solution in this bug zero? Sir, can you hear me?
I still cannot properly hear your question. Vishwa, can you hear the question properly? Can you? I think, Shafraz, can you type the question in the chat? I think in that way I can answer it and right. Yeah. So yeah. So the thing is, since Bug Zero is only focused for security vulnerabilities, the UI interface bugs like quality assurance, we name the QA bugs. The QA bugs is not like encouraged platform, because if we are looking into QA bugs, and then we might get like, thousands of QA bugs, but it would be less importance in the security bugs. So we are only focusing on the security bugs. So if you found some user interface bug, can like inform us via our email or something like that, but we do not accept like any of the other programs as well. We do not but we are encouraging you to find the we are more encouraging you to find security vulnerabilities rather than interface bugs, because you are not some kind of a general user who's going to find some kind of a bug in a system when the button is not working, things like that. They are meant for like general users, but you are advanced as general users, so you have to work in a more advanced way and find security vulnerabilities, not like which are not visible to general users. You have to be thinking ahead of the general users. Did I answer your question? Yeah. Yeah, thank you for your question. If anyone has a question, please type a question in the chat. I can see you, and I will stop my presentation and answer you. So yeah, what I was discussing about this threat level. So once we complete this threat level, we can type the report title. Think of think a report title as an email subject. When we are sending an email, we want to make it more informative, very simple. Like we don't use lengthy sentences to add a email subject. So in a report title, we are going to how the like what is the vulnerability and where is the vulnerability. I will show you a good report title shortly. So once enter the report title, we can move on to the description is the main body of the vulnerability report. So what we are asking you to do is to add the steps to find the vulnerability exactly. Like what is the step one? What is the step two? What is the next step? What is the final step? So once we add the we can add these steps, and we can view this. Now I'm talking about the organization side. We can see these steps and we can find these vulnerabilities on our own. So if you add these reproducible steps clearly, we can, as organization users, we can also find this vulnerability on our own and see whether you are accurately showing a vulnerability in our platform. So it's very important that you add the steps to reproduce very clearly. So if you are like unable to clearly mention the steps, there is no. You can make a screen recording, find the vulnerability. Like how did you find the vulnerability on your own? You can add it like a Google Drive or Mega or any kind of a link, and you can add the link, add the video or screenshots here as well to our own platform as well. Either way, there is no problem. So once you completed the description, you can move on to the impact section. So the impact section is where when we are talking about what is the risk to the target. Like if you are finding a cross-ability in a certain platform, so that to an account takeover, full account takeover of a victim. So you mentioned that there is an cross-scripting in this platform, this website, this let's say homepage, scripting in homepage. This can lead to a full account takeover of a victim. So that could give the basic understanding about how uh, a vulnerability is identified and how the vulnerability can be exploited and how important it is to take an action, like an immediate action to fix this vulnerability. So that's how we submit reports. So once we've completed all the steps, you first select the assets, then you select the threat level. You don't have to worry about this. You can write the informative title, you write the description, you write the impact, and if you have some kind of assets, you can upload those as well. So finally, you can submit the report. That's how we submit a report. Now I will show you how a good report looks like. So you can see here in this hacker has reported this no rate limit on forgot password page. So you can see what is the vulnerability and where is the vulnerability. So that shows the to write a good report title. So in here he has mentioned the steps to reduce the vulnerability. He has gone through step 1, step 2, and step 3, and finally attached these screenshots as. So that's how we are create writing a report and submitting the report. So now critical things like how to find a vulnerability, how to report the vulnerability, how to write a good report. But now we need to what is next. Now you know all these steps. What is next that you have to do is you have to learn vulnerability, how to find vulnerabilities. You have to follow new trends. You have to there are some kind of YouTube channels and there are accounts that you can follow to learn how to find vulnerabilities. And there are Medium articles, our own blog. We have articles on how to find certain vulnerabilities, and some of our hackers have submitted write-ups. We are calling them write-ups because of the vulnerability in a platform. Once the vulnerability is disclosed to the public, it's a custom that bug hunters write a report on how they found the vulnerability and how they communicated with the program and what is the bounty that they got for that certain vulnerability. And then they publish it to the internet so that everyone can see. It's good publicity for the hacker as well, and it's good publicity for the organization as well. So that's what I wanted to tell you about what is next. Let's move on to the most interesting part, and half an hour. So in this half an hour, I will show you how to find a vulnerability in a live system, a real world application. and I will tell you what is an exploit, and I will exploit a vulnerability. Before moving on to that, I will tell you this: do not try this at home, because these systems, the ones I'm going to demonstrate to you, are all the vulnerable application is mine. The accounts that I'm going to hack is my own. So the domains I'm going to use, I will be using some kind of email features, everything. In that way, no one's getting hurt, because I am the hacker and I am the victim as well. So in that way, no problem. I'm not going to get myself in trouble. So, but I'm asking you not to do this at your home, because if you are doing this hacking in your to another someone, if someone like other than yourself, you will definitely get in trouble, because in any country there is a law against hacking. So you should definitely not with someone else's consent. Of course, if they give you consent, like most to ask for them written consent, please find vulnerabilities in my platform and report them to me. That's what we are doing in Bugs. They give you consent to find vulnerabilities in the platform, and you acknowledging that consent, and you are reporting that vulnerabilities into the platform itself. Going to public them other place, report that into the platform itself only. That's the basic agreement, the hacker and the organization. So what I'm going to do today is, first I will pinpoint a vulnerability, and then I an exploit, and then I get a victim. In this case, I am also the victim, and then I will select a mode of communication, how the hacker and team are going to communicate, to ask them their password. You like, I will show you how an hacker will ask your password. They will not directly ask, hey, give me your password. They will ask you a very creative manner. I will show you that. And then since you have the victim's password, we have the full access control with the victim's account. So the most important thing that you have to remember is, since you are a good person and you are with your knowledge, do no harm. That's the most important thing you are learning today. You will learn some other things as well. The most important thing is, you must not use your knowledge to harm anyone. Because if you are harm someone, it's like it's not a nice thing to do. That's the basic thing. So finally, I will talk to you about the learn lesson today. So without any further delay, I will move on to finding. So at first, I think I can give you some kind of diagram that we can revisit from time to time. Where are we right now? The hacker. This is the victim. Hacker, no victim, but the victim, how they are going to communicate. In this example, how we are going to find the victim's email. I'm not going to talk about in this session, because I'm the hacker and I'm the victim in this scenario. But if you want to learn how to find someone's email, there are resources. But remember, do no harm. So then we are going to visit a vulnerable web application. We have to find vulnerabilities, and then we are going to for right now, hacker is going to visit the vulnerability. Victim is going to visit the hacker is going to visit the vulnerable web application, and the victim is also visiting the vulnerable web application. This is the entire things that we are going to see right now. So this is the vulnerable web application. This my web application. I've written this web application, so there won't be like there won't be any kind of problem in doing some hacking with this, because I am the owner of this web application, and this is hosted in my own web server. So let's see. I'm the user. Like, this is my, I am logging in this system as the hacker. So now we are logging in. As you can see, in this platform, this is a simple message board. You can type a message and you can leave that message to someone else. They can read it and they can respond to that message as well. Like you know, like message boards, like there are certain message boards, like there are like let's say, let's take an example as an Reddit, you like something like that. You can type a message and others can reply to your message. Let's say since I'm the hacker, but the entire world doesn't know that I'm a hacker, but try to identify vulnerabilities in this web application. If you are a common person, like a lay person, you are going to visit this web application, you are not going to worry about what's happening in this web application, but you are write to a message, like let's say you say hello world, you submit the message, you can see it in this platform. But since you are bound in this application, you are not just going to look into this this what we are I am calling this as a facade. Like this is a fake thing. This thing. This is the real thing. This is what is the real thing, that everything you see in the website is a fake thing. This is where the real thing happens. This is where how it will talk to the internet, how your website will talk with the internet. And this is where all the secrets of this facade is hidden. It's hidden in the sense like a normal person wouldn't see or understand it. But since you are not a normal person, you are trying to read this. You are trying to go through each and everything, and this website is built. So do not worry if you are not getting any of this. Like, what is this application network tab? What is this console? And what is these elements? Some information about how to work with web application, how to build web applications. So when you are more experienced with web applications, you will know in what is going to happen in each of these sections in the Chrome developer tools. For the time being, I will only like go basic steps to find a vulnerability in these applications. Since I've written this application, I know where the vulnerabilities are, because in put these vulnerabilities intentionally. So, but since you are a hacker and I'm not, I am the hacker and I don't Lisa. I'm following a very simple step. If you see an input box, you have to and process scripting vulnerability. How this the site developer might have do some kind of they might have introduced this process scripting vulnerability. See how a developer would think, and think how and as a hacker, how you would exploit the developers' weaknesses. So for now, I will use this simple script. I will share this simple script with you as and how to. There are multiple. There are thousands of ways to find this cross-site scripting vulnerability. This is just a simple step, an example way. You can find others on the internet and YouTube. So once we find a vulnerability in this, like once we find the input box to find the vulnerability, we are going to paste this, and if there is a vulnerability in this, if this cross-site scripting vulnerability in this website, there will be a pop-up here. There will be a pop-up here calling hello world. I have mentioned here hello world. So let's try to see if there is a vulnerability. There is a cross-site scripting vulnerability. That's it. If you are a good person, if you are a bug bounty hunter, this is enough to get a substantial amount from the organization. If there is a bug bounty program called Nibda in this Bug Zero platform, if you submit a screenshot with this, we will give you a substantial amount as a bounty for finding this vulnerability. You can stop right here because we do not need, like as a bug bounty hunter, you don't need to exploit this vulnerability or do any kind of damage to, like, because you will get either way you will get a reward, like you get a bounty. But today I'm going to show you how a hacker would think. We are not going to stop. We are going to do as well. Like we are going to hack this account. So this vulnerability. But as a good hacker, you can not stop here, and you can find more vulnerabilities as well. Like you can find if this platform has the same vulnerability in different places. So we can do this in this way. We can try to input different things, like we are calling it like automated input testing. But right now I'm not going to automate it. I'm going to use it in my hand. So in a later session, Isuru will discuss how to use automate inputting these like automate inputs. So right now, let's type some garbled words and try to submit it. It works. Let's try to add some numbers. It works. For this instance, let's an emoji. So you can see that there is a message. There's an error message called the message should not contain emojis. So you know there is this platform doesn't allow you messages. Now you try to, if a platform doesn't allow you to do something, that you should try it several times. How does the platform so I will do it several times. You can see that in here there is something quickly changing and they are disappearing. I will keep close attention here. You can see that something is quickly changing. To see if this this we are calling the URL. If this URL is changing quickly, we can go to our history and see if if the URL is in fact changing. To like to make this more interesting, I have written a Chrome extension. See the exact history for before 5 minutes. For 5 minutes, I use this platform only. Let's see how. Yes. So as you can see, the URL is changing. So you can see here we are calling this the query param. In the error query param, it gives the error message as a query string. the message should not contain emojis. So we know that this platform, the developer has used this query params to show the message in this platform. So let's see if we can change this. Using this, we can change our own message. The message should not contain emojis. Let's say the message should not contain characters like numbers. It's accepting, it's visiting the website. Yes. Input the query string as this, the message should not contain numbers, and it accepted this as a valid error message. So we can think ahead, and we can check if the developer has thought about this cross-site scripting vulnerability. So we are going to use the same like the simple exploit to see if the vulnerability is in the platform itself. We are going to replace the URL with this, and then if the once the website has completely loaded, if there is a message called hello world, I will change this to 2 for your clear understanding. If there is a message called hello world vulnerability in error message as well. So far, if you have any question, please. Now you can see there is a hello world 2 message in a pop-up. So we know there are the cross-site scripting vulnerability is in 2 different places, and we know how to exploit them as well. So if we go back here, we know there is a vulnerability in this application. We know exactly we have 2 different pieces in this application, and we know how to find those vulnerabilities, and we know how to exploit these vulnerabilities. So going to use this to exploit, like what I'm doing is highly discouraged, and please do not do this unless you are doing this to yourself, like I am, your own system. We are going to exploit this weakness in this victim, and we are going to find this, like this, exploit this vulnerability, and we are going to steal this vulnerability. We are going to steal this access token using this vulnerability. But before that, we are going to use the technique, like we are going to use email spoofing and email phishing. Email spoofing is another kind of a vulnerability in another system, but I'm not going to discuss about email spoofing here. I'm just going to give some kind of basic introduction. But email phishing, you might have heard about email phishing. We are going to use some kind of a weakness in the victim as well. Like we are not going to use the weakness in the system only. We are going to use some kind of weakness in the victim as well. We are going to the victim, and we are going to use his own weaknesses, his own vulnerabilities against themselves. So in this instance, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some kind of a simple thing. Let's say I'm going to hack myself, because in that way no one is getting hurt. So that I will use this temp mail. This is a temporary email, so no problem. This is my own temporary email. Let's wait. Yeah, we got it. So then let's see who. I'm going to describe myself. So I am a victim. but only hacker knows that I'm a victim. So I'm a big fan of Batman. So hacker know that I'm a big fan of Batman, but it's very simple. You go to my Facebook account, you see I'm sharing posts about Batman every day. So you know I'm a big fan of Batman. So that's why I'm going to discuss about the things that we are going to learn today. So the hacker knows that I'm a big fan of Batman. Hacker is going to use this. I'm not going to say this as a weakness, but the hacker is going to use it as an advantage to them and going to exploit that and trying to use this that I like Batman. He's going to use it to obtain my account password or the access token. So what we are going to do here is we are going to create a fake email. For this, I'm using my own email because, as I mentioned, in that way there won't be any problem. I'm going to use this email, and as the subject, I will add be comics edition, and I will add an email mentioning that click this link, special Batman edition. If you are a big fan of Batman and you would get this kind of a email, you would not think twice to click on this link. So I'm sending the email. Wait until the email is reaching this victim's email box. As the hacker, I have sent the phishing. Just wait. I think sometimes, yeah. See, let's forget that my name is here. Like my name is Entrepreneurship, and this is my email. But the hacker will use a very convincing spoofed email, and you would see comics Batman special edition here, and you read this email, and it won't be as this ugly. It will be very sophisticated, very interesting email. Like think twice to click on this link. You click this link. For the moment, I've sent a very harmless link in this email. It just doing is that making this pop up. But in next, I will send a real harmful exploit email as a link. And once you click that link, you will be like you are basically giving away your password to the hacker. I will show you how the hacker is stealing your password. So for that, I have written my own server for since everything is done on my own servers, so there won't be any problems. So here the stolen access token will be seen here, and you don't have to worry about this. You are interested in web development, you will learn these things, and you will, if you are like a software developer, you have to learn this to avoid being hacked. So when we are developing a web application, the best way to avoid these problems is to think like a hacker. How and think like a hacker, and how the vulnerability should be avoided, and how an hacker would exploit your weaknesses. So you don't have to worry about the things here because these are some kind of JavaScript code that I've written to steal the token from the account and send that stolen account moving back to this. We have now have the victim's email. We have a vulnerable application. We got the email spoofing done. We got the email phishing done. We are going to steal. We are not going to actually steal. We are going to just ask the victim to send access token back to us. So let me create the create an email again. We are going to use the template. And we are going to wait. Yeah, I think Shafraz has raised hand again. Can you please the chat? In the meantime, I can demonstrate this and answer a question. So I'm going to add the fake email. I'm going to add the sub DC Comics Batman Special Edition here. I will change this and then I will add the email body, and for the link I will this harmful exploit. The Shafraz has asked that can we hack the email with cache poisoning? We are not hacking an email. Asking the email, we are sending an email to the user and asking their. We are exploiting a vulnerability in XSS or cross-site scripting vulnerability in this website. But I think we can using the cache poisoning and try to hack an email. But the thing is, if you are using some kind of with a two-factor, this won't doing any good, because even if you got the password, you have to have the two-factor authentication. So in that way, my suggestion is always have an two-factor authentication on your accounts. If a service gives you the access to authentication, always please turn on your two-factor authentication, because it might look like always give you some kind of better than without using the authentication. So I will get back to you this session. So for the time being, let's move on to sending the email. I have sent. Let's see the email reaches the. Yeah, we got the DC Comics Batman Limited Special Edition. So once we read this, we are very excited. It's a limited special edition. We don't think twice about this link. We just click this link. You might see these kind of long links. You don't really care about what's happening in these links, and you don't here as well. So you are not going to worry about this as well. You just cut it, or like you just. But under the hood, without your knowledge, the hacker has stolen your access token, like your total access control to this platform. So here we can see the access token. We have the access token. This is the access token. This is better than the password. So if we move back to our diagram, now we have access token. We don't need the victim anymore. We can impersonate the victim, and we can do some really damaging things, because suppose this is just a message board. Suppose we can do this in a banking application, or even Facebook or YouTube, or some kind of social media, like a reputed social media. If your account get hacked like this, you are in big trouble. That's why I say always be mindful about the you receive. I will discuss more about later. Right now we have an access token. This is what we are calling as an JSON web token. Once we receive a JSON web token, as a developer, the best thing you can do is go to this jwt.io. In this platform, JSON web tokens, if you are a web developer, you will be familiar with if you are a web developer familiar with JSON web tokens, you know how to use JSON web tokens as authentication. So in this, you can use this to decode the JSON web token, and in that way you can find what is hidden, like encoded in this JSON web token. Usually in a JSON web token, what we are doing, we are going to encode some kind of a message, like username, the email, things like that. Those are like something that should be encoded, but they are public. But the thing is that you cannot change a JSON web token, but you can only view it. I think there is yeah, let's move on, like using the JSON web token. So once we got the JSON web token, we can utilize this JSON web with like impersonate an account. So I think I can show you that. Let's close these windows. Let's close them as well. Yeah. Let's say hello. My name is. I'm going to submit this message. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use this access token, and then I'm going to change this message to show that this account has been hacked. I will change this account to this. Let's wait until in this I'm using the Postman. If you do not know what Postman is, you don't have to worry about it. It's something we are using to test APIs. Since Firebase use an API, we can use this to an emulate API call. So we are going to I'm going to show you what is hidden. I mean, not hidden, but encoded in this JSON web token. So let's replace this. Yeah. So you can see this web token is owned by this email user@node.io, and we can see the user ID. If we see that XKTRX, let's see this. Yeah. So XKTRX is in fact, this is is the victim's account, so no problem. We have exactly the victim's account, so we don't need to worry about the other things. But if you are a web developer, you know what these things are. I'm not going to go in details about those things. And web token, to change this to a different harmful thing, and we will in that way I will demonstrate that this account has been taken control by the hacker. So we are going to replace this with this. So we are going to replace this with the user ID. I think already the same ID. Yeah, no problem. So we are going to replace this with this access token, and then we are going to change this message. This simple message, "Hello, my name is Nipuna," will be changed by the hacker. This message, "I am the victim." If everything goes well, we will get a 200 HTTP 200 OK message. If you are a web developer, you know what that means. Let's send the message. Yes, in fact, we got the status 200 OK message. So it means if we go to the website right now, the victim's message will be changed as, "I am the victim, I got hacked." See, now as I claimed as the hacker, I got complete access over the victim's account. I got his JSON web token, his access token, so I can impersonate him using my Postman, my API, and I changed his message to this harmful message: "I am the victim, I got hacked." Imagine if an hacker he mentioned some kind of like a explicit thing here, you would be like in big trouble. So on to this diagram now. We impersonated hacker, and for that we use this technology called email phishing. Sorry, it's not a technology, but like this technique, phishing, and we use the email spoofing. In this example, I only talked about the spoofing. I did not show you how to exactly do the spoofing. We stolen, we not exactly stolen, but he gave that to us because he didn't know how to read and link. And for that, we found two vulnerabilities in the same web application. We used one vulnerability to exploit, and with that, we completed the hacking cycle, and now we have the complete control over the victim's account. So that's the basic thing I wanted to show you, like how to find a vulnerability, how to pinpoint the vulnerability, how to write an exploit, how to select victim in this example, and how to select a mode of communication. I used email and we asked their password. So we had their pass access token, and then we had the full access control of the victim's account. And we should not use our knowledge anyone. So remember, do no harm. And then finally, learn. So as the final of my demonstration, we have learned many valuable lessons. First, do not click links sent by some kind of an email that you do not know the email sender prior. You should not click that link because any link can be harmful. Then always use some kind of a two-factor authentication. If you if the authentication is done by the platform, use that two-factor authentication. And then we have learned that not trust emails, like basically do not trust emails from unknown people, and like most of the time your will be safe from them because they will be moved to spam. But in this case, I used a fake email, so the email was not sent to spam. But most of the time, it will be sent to the spam. But always be careful about your emails. And then finally, we learned these steps to how to find a vulnerability and writing and exploit and this stuff. And as the final thing that I'm going to tell you is that we can learn anything, any step that I showed you in the internet. If you Google it, we will share you this presentation as well, so you know what to Google. So if you Google it, you can learn how to do it. But remember, like you can get get overwhelmed with this knowledge. Like you know everything. Like you know how to hack someone's account using this, sending an email or things like that. But you should always remember, you should not use this knowledge to harm someone's reputation or harm someone's or for money, like monetary gains. You should not do it, because even if you are a really good hacker, if you are turning out to be a really good hacker, at some point in trouble with the law. So you will like it will run so long, but you will get caught at the end. So that's my my view. Learning how to hack is a really good thing. You should learn it, but you should use it to harm someone else with that knowledge. So that is the entirety of my demonstration and my presentation. So I have taken around 11 minutes from the next presenter as well. So if you have some questions, I think we can move on to the next session, and after that, if we have time, we can discuss them. I think I will stop sharing. Are you ready to take over the session?
Yes, I'm ready. Let me share the screen.
Yeah, sure.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see.
Okay. So, hi everyone, I'm Buddhini and I'm here to give you a little insight into gender diversity and myths in cybersecurity domain. So, let me first introduce myself to you. I'm Buddhini Abhiratna and I'm a senior undergraduate at UCSC, and I worked as a research intern at Colab. And I'm the chairperson of IEEE Women in Engineering Student Branch Affinity Group of UCSC for the year 2022 and 2023. And my work interests include blockchain, social cybersecurity, and privacy. Now let's move on to the serious issue here. So where are the women in cybersecurity? Even here we are having this women participants. So where are they hiding at? So did you know that women make up only about 24% of the cybersecurity workforce? Now, 24%, you might think it's a reasonably good number. You probably thought it could get any worse. But here we are talking about the global workforce. In Sri Lanka itself, it's far worse. So, but why? Why has it come to this unfortunate situation? So another study has shown that 69% of women do not pursue a career in IT because they were unaware of the opportunity. So think about the things that you would be able to do if you knew about the opportunities that were available to you. And it's not just software engineering, business analyst, UI UX engineer, or researcher. There are so many job opportunities in cybersecurity field itself. So we are here to today to make you aware that there are so many opportunities out there. You just have to seize them. So now let me ask you to do something for me. Can you just imagine a hacker? Picture a hacker that comes into your mind. I hope you had enough time to imagine a person now. So does that person look like someone like this? I don't think so. So this person must be a front desk calling officer or a secretary maybe, or maybe probably she's a princess. So let's look at this other guy here. Now that one looks like a super hacker, right? And but what if I tell you that this lady right here is a hacker who's famously known as the malware unicorn? And she's Amanda Russo, and she works at Microsoft's cyber defense team, the MOST team. So guys, as you can guess by now, we cannot possibly be judging these people, these cybersecurity experts, by how they look. But the images that we often see online, even now if you go to Google and search for hacker, you probably would see a male and probably under an anonymous mask with an arched back leaned towards their computer typing gibberish. So such images and the society's view that cybersecurity is a male profession often leads to people to believe that males are better suited for this job and that women do not have the necessary skill sets to fulfill the job positions in the cybersecurity domain. But that is far from the truth. So not just malware unicorn, these people right here, they are all hackers. And this lady right here, she's Katie Masuris. She's known all over the world as the bug bounty queen. We'll talk about her later in a later slide. And neither of them look like the movie version of a hacker, right? So now let's see why diversity is very important in the cybersecurity field. So guys, have you heard of this phrase? Men are from Mars and women, not Mars, and women are from Venus. So it simply says that men and women are different from each other, and how they see the world is different from each other as well. And most importantly, what's why this is related to cybersecurity field is how they look at problems is also different from each other. And in cybersecurity field, we call that humans are the weakest link in cybersecurity. And why do we say so? Because at the core level, we cannot find a way to prevent people from making the same mistake more than once. Actually, more often than not, it's just slips, not mistakes. Slips are like typos. We cannot, they happen all the time. We cannot stop them from happening. So this inability to prevent people from doing the same mistakes more than once is what makes them the weakest link in the link of cybersecurity, the chain of cybersecurity. So if the attack is towards humans collectively, don't you think that we need every possible hand on the deck? So do you agree if I say that we need every possible different opinion of a problem to actually solve it? So that way we will be able to solve these critical problems in cybersecurity very quickly, productively, and also creatively. So that is why diversity is very important. And if the security team comprises of people who think in the same way, who have the same approach towards a certain problem, no progress will be ever made. Therefore, having different viewpoints and approaches will not only be beneficial, but it will also lead to a variety of creative solutions. So, and it has also been proven by this study, Gartner Gender Diversity in Security and Risk Management Survey. It says gender diverse and inclusive teams outperform gender homogeneous and less inclusive teams by an average of 50%. And that means gender diverse and inclusive teams in the sense they welcome and embrace the people from all the genders and races in the world. So those teams, the inclusive teams, outperforms less inclusive teams by an average of 50%. That's remarkable, right? And since there are like less number of women participants in the session today, I'm counting on the women here and the men to pass on the message and encourage the women around you to come join with you in this cybersecurity domain. So also another reason why someone tends to not choose a cybersecurity career path is because of the imposter syndrome. So I believe that you are familiar with the word imposter from the game Among Us if you have played it during the COVID times. But if you are hearing about the imposter syndrome for the first time, let me ask you about it this way. So are you a person who feels like you're not smart enough like others, smarter than others? When you are put into a group, you look at people around you and you get intimidated by them and you go blank, even though you demonstrate competency. Like even though you are smarter than the people you know, but often you feel like this. So, and also, do you feel like the past successes and achievements of yours are just due to some luck? So if you're such a person, then you probably have this imposter syndrome. And this is not a disease, don't worry. But this is an emotion that we sometimes feel when we are in certain situations. And as undergraduates, we might feel like this when we are doing group projects, when we go for hackathons, and maybe even in the lecture hall. So we can collectively agree that that we all have this. So we tend to think sometimes that what we know is way smaller than what others know, and what others know is 10 times much. But in reality, what happens is other people know separate things, and you might also know bits and pieces of what other people know. But in this blue space right here, this space shows that only you know and what others don't. And this is the reality, guys. So this is exactly why your voice matters in the team. And because you know so much more than what others know. So, and in a security team, there are all kinds of people, as I told you before. There are coders, designers, product testers, people who monitor systems. Yeah, so not everyone needs to know everything. So this collective effort is very important when it comes to producing a very good, great security team. And this imposter syndrome is not gender biased. We all get this. And when you feel like this, when you feel like you're an imposter, when you don't know something, ask questions. Don't try to fake it until you make it, because that won't take you a long way. Get comfortable with saying that you don't know about something. Can you teach me this? And there will be tons of people out there to help you out. Now let's move a bit from the diversity and talk about another very important thing in the bug bounty area. Is bug bounty legal? So Vatsala explained to you what bug bounty is, and Bug Zero is a bug bounty platform. So the people who report the vulnerabilities to the bug bounty platform, we call them as bug bounty hunters. And also there's another word to call them, that's white hat hackers. And the opposite of that is black hat hackers. Those are the people who hack the systems with bad intentions, with intentions to destroy the systems. So that's a real concern here. Isn't bug bounty the same thing as hacking? So hacking versus bug bounty. Actually, what we initially do in both the cases is similar. All we do is finding vulnerabilities in the systems. So, but what will you do after finding these vulnerabilities is your moment of truth. That's the moment you have to choose for yourself whether you are going to be a black hat hacker or a white hat hacker. So if you're a black hat hacker, you will try to exploit the vulnerabilities. You will try to break through the systems and manipulate the data. But if you're a bug bounty hunter, you will report these vulnerabilities to the relevant authority. Still, you must be wondering, where do we actually draw this line? So when you're testing an application as a bug bounty hunter, let's say you use a SQL injection, which is a common attack vector. If you don't know about it, don't worry. It's another way to, it's a method to attack a system. And when you use it to log into a system as an admin, you have all the powers to manipulate the system when you're logged in as an admin. So once you are successful on that attack, once you go past that point, you stop your role as a bug bounty hunter. Then what you do is you report these vulnerabilities to the relevant authorities. But if you go any further and try to manipulate the databases and try to destroy the systems, then you are going to be a black hat hacker. And there's a higher chance that you will be prosecuted because the authorities can take actions against you because hacking is just another crime. So it's very important to know where you are standing. And that is exactly where you should draw the line. So you're not allowed to manipulate the data of the system as a bug bounty hunter. So this is where another term comes up, which is responsible disclosure. So when you find a vulnerability as such, you are disclosing about the vulnerability to the relevant authority and as a responsible citizen through an email or through a bug bounty platform as Bug Zero. And that's what responsible disclosure is about. So also by relevant authorities, what I mean is if it's not through a bug bounty platform, we try to first contact the product owner. And if they didn't respond to you, you can always contact and inform about this vulnerability to the CERT of the country. So in Sri Lanka, we have Sri Lanka CERT. CERT stands for Computer Emergency Readiness Team, which is the national authority that is responsible for reacting for these kinds of cyber attacks, and they also proactively strengthen defenses against any potential cyber attack. So back in April this year, guys, we saw these kinds of groups of people who went by the name Anonymous. These people were not the International Anonymous, but some wannabes. They hacked into our poorly constructed government sites and disclosed our very own people's personal details. And I took this screenshot from Twitter. Maybe you have seen it too, but this actually happened. So this is actually a move of someone who has seen so many stereotypical hacker movies. Don't you agree with me? So, were you also someone who even rooted and cheered for these guys? Maybe you didn't know about this. For these hackers, it might seem very heroic, but they didn't even know whose confidential data they were revealing to the public. And there's an informal term that we call these people, that is script kiddies. And there are so many YouTube videos out there like this, which shows you how to hack a system in website in 6 minutes using scripts and existing software. So, and when you use these programs without even knowing how they actually work and what they do, you might be putting yourself in danger. actually not only you're putting yourself in danger, but also you're dragging the innocent people with you, like this scenario here. So don't be another script kiddie. It is your responsibility to know what you're doing. And guys, if you abide by these rules and keep hunting bugs, you can actually make a difference in the world. And now let me share with you the first bug bounty story of a well-known security researcher, Katie Paxton Fear. So in an interview, she was asked about her very first bug bounty, and she said that it was done on a request. Maybe it was a HTTP request. She didn't reveal about that. So she was skeptical about that one request, and as it was slightly different from other requests, so she kept looking into it to find a vulnerability, and she got stuck somewhere, and now she needed one more additional information to proceed through. So she started testing the application for more bugs, and found her second bug at the same time. So it was on a price variable, and there was no validation done to the variable. So validations are conditions that we put into uh, a variable or a form input to restrict their use. So for an example, think about a time you created an account where you had to create a password for your account. So there were so many conditions that your password should meet, right? They must be at least 8 characters long. They should have at least one capital letter, one number, one symbol, so on and so forth. So these are what we call form validations. And since there were no validations put to this price variable, we are able to put large numbers and even negative numbers. So can someone tell me, I'm sure you have ample experience on online shopping by now. So let's say you're buying a t-shirt, and you see that the t-shirt's price as negative 2000 rupees. So what will happen if you check out with a negative, with an item with the price label as negative 2000 rupees as the price? Theoretically, what will happen if you check out? Can someone tell in the chat box? Okay, someone has asked about what is a gray hat hacker, and someone has also answered to it. Thank you. We encourage this discussion to go on. And yeah, Udara has said that they pay us for buying the t-shirt. Yeah, simply you will be paid 2000 rupees for buying that t-shirt from that store, and that's a huge problem. So, and it's a bug, guys. So that's what exactly Katie had found, and she felt she said she had told in the interview that it was pure joy what she felt when she submitted this report to to that organization. So isn't that cool? Bug bounty hunter is an empowering and an exciting role that you should definitely consider. And as university students, this is a great opportunity as well to earn some pocket money while studying. And you can have this as your side hustle maybe. And because bug bounty is all about earning rewards in exchange for exposing security vulnerability. So you're not smart for nothing. You can actually earn money out of this. And as an undergraduate, it's a great thing for you. So who should you look up to in this domain? The short answer is anyone whose work interests you. So I believe you guys are in LinkedIn. So if you're interested in security, you should definitely follow some cybersecurity experts in LinkedIn, because they will often share interesting articles and their ongoing projects. What are they doing right now? and you can read about them and polish your knowledge. Because knowing just this textbook stuff is not enough to move up the ladder, guys. So you got to be updated of what's happening out there in the world and the current trends, and you have to be updated with the state of the art tools as well. So most of the professionals are active in Twitter as well. And these ladies right here, uh, these are security experts, and you might want to follow them on Twitter. I've listed their Twitter handles here, and I'll actually put the links to these people in the chat now. Give me a moment. Okay, here you go. And yeah, so Kate Masur is here, who I talked to you about earlier. She's also known as the Bug Bounty Queen, and she was actually directly involved in creating the USA Hack the Pentagon program, which was the first ever bug bounty program in the history of US federal government. And she's the founder and CEO of Luta Security, and she's also trying to close the gender pay gap in cybersecurity, meaning she's trying to achieve fair pay across all the genders and races in the world, which is a great thing. And next we have Leah Kisner, who was the global head of security and privacy of Google products. And she was also the chief information security officer at Twitter. She recently left Twitter actually. And then we have Heather Adkins. She's the vice president security engineering at Google. So, and also we have Adriana Porterfeld. She's one of the directors of engineering at Google, and she's also working in the security team of Google Chrome, guys. So who says cybersecurity is not for women when these ladies are not only in the cybersecurity field but also on top of their game? And these are just few. I'm sure you can find more people by yourself. And some of the security leads create content on YouTube as well. So, and the best place to start following security creators will be this site. I'll put the link in the chat also. So there you go. And here you can see Katie is here, who's the first bug bounty story I shared with you a few slides back. And so take your time and go through these people's content, guys, and subscribe to the people who makes you interested, not intimidated, but who makes you interested and inspired of their content. It's totally up to you, and try to watch what they say often, and you will gain a lot of knowledge and exposure to the security domain so easily by going through these people's content. So if you wish to learn more about bug bounty and more in the security domain, you can always subscribe to our YouTube channel for sessions. Then our Twitter handle, where we share about news about cybersecurity world, and also we share reading materials for you to go through and polish your knowledge. So keep in touch with Bug Zero. And not only through bug bounty hunting, you have a chance to join us as a blog writer as well. And considering your quality writing, you will be able to get paid. And if you are interested, you can refer to this post that I will put in the chat right now. Yeah, I put it. And this post actually has a guide for you to become a blog writer with us. Yeah, we welcome you all as blog writers as well. And that's another good news, guys. So we are hoping to conduct workshops for bug bounty hunting from basics. So if you are interested to join us for that as well, stay tuned with us on social media. We will be posting about news on workshops on our social media platform. And I will also put the links of our socials here. So there you go. So with that, we have come to the end of my time with you. Hope you gained something out of my session. So thank you guys. And if you have any questions, please ask, or if we are running out of time, we can hand over the session to Isuru.
No, actually, I think we have time, plenty of time until Isuru is ready with his session. So, as I mentioned earlier, since we hadn't any time to discuss, you to ask questions about my session, like how to uh, move on with finding vulnerabilities in web applications and hacking and things like that. If you have any questions, you can type it in the chat. And if you want, we can unmute you as well to ask questions. But I think if you ask in the chat, it would be very useful to others to read that question as well, and get some understanding about that question when I'm answering it. Yeah, we got the first question. What are the things that we want to include and avoid in screen recording or screenshot in a bug report? Yeah, it's a very good question. I will give you this answer, but the thing is, when we are reporting a vulnerability report, we can take a screen recording. So if you are worried about your personal information, like if you are adding some kind of an email of an attachment, like a screenshot of your email, you can use a fake email, like what I use in my session. You can use a fake email box, use that fake email to do your testings, and then you can use that email in your screenshot. So that won't be problem. Since the report will be published, then you won't there is no problem because your personal information is safe. But even if you use your own email, there is no problem in the screen recording, because if you ask the organization not to disclose the report, they will not disclose your report. Even if they will disclose the report, they will remove the screenshot from the public document, and then they will post the report as a separate one, we are called as a redacted report. So your personal information will be safe. But as a guideline, as a rule of thumb, when you are writing a report in Bug0 or any other platform like HackerOne, BugCrowd, Integrity, or any other platform, do not include your personal or identifying information in the report itself, like your usernames, your email addresses, your anything. So the thing is, if you put some kind of an personal information in this report, there will be hard to make that report to publicly disclose it, and we have to redact that private information. And once we redact the information from a report, it gets obscured. So we try to completely publish your report. So always try to remove any personal information before submitting an vulnerability report. I think that answers your question. Does that answer your question? Yes. Yeah. So the payment process, good question. So in Bug Zero, when we are submitting a report, the payment is done based on the quality of the report. So when we're discussing about the quality of the report, it means that the vulnerability, how did you find the vulnerability? How your report's quality, like how you have mentioned the steps in this report, and how your the things that you have discovered, like how critical is the vulnerability. Suppose you are finding a vulnerability in a static website like a home page. So in that vulnerability, you won't get like a substantial sum because the criticality, the threat level of that vulnerability is low. But if you found a vulnerability in a WordPress site that hosted on a server, so you can use that vulnerability to take control of the server. You will get a very big amount of a bounty because that's a very critical vulnerability. So you will get to compensate your effort and to encourage you to find more vulnerabilities. We will be giving a substantial amount of vulnerability. Currently, we have, I think, if you follow our socials, you know that we have already awarded around 1.5 million rupees in Sri Lankan rupees as bounties. And if you found a good vulnerability, you are going to definitely you are going to find an happy amount of bounty as your reward. So the payment process is once you found the vulnerability, when you are submitting report, you will contact with the organization. They will reproduce the vulnerability from their side. They will validate the report. If the vulnerability is a valid vulnerability, they will fix the vulnerability. They will mention you that this vulnerability has been fixed. So you have to retest that vulnerability from your side. Once the vulnerability is completely fixed from if you cannot reproduce the vulnerability on your side, it means the vulnerability is completely fixed. Once the vulnerability is completely fixed, we change the report's version as the fixed report. So once the report is fixed, you will be rewarded with the bounty. And once you will be rewarded with bounty, you have to send your payment information to us, like your bank account. And the payment will be done to your bank account. And finally, if you and the organization agree to disclose the report to the public, then the report will be publicized, and we will be mention that report is public in our social media as well. So you will definitely get some kind of publicity as well. I think that answers your question. Is there any feature to bug reproduction for ensure the bug? I think what you're asking is like is there a feature to reproduce the bug? No, actually, the thing entirely relies on it entirely relies on your report. Like if you follow the exact steps, then once you follow the exact steps, you will report that exact steps in the description. Then from our side, like as the organization, we will follow that same steps as well. So once we follow the same steps, we should have we should be able to reproduce the vulnerability from our side. So if we cannot reproduce the vulnerability from our side, it means that we cannot validate the vulnerability. So there will be a problem, and of course we will not dismiss your report. We have an obligation to ask you more details about how to send you some kind of a screenshot or videos, screen recording, or we will contact you constantly to get an update about how to find this vulnerability on our own. So you don't have to worry about a feature or something like that to ensure the reproduction of the bug. So what is the least amount that we can expect for bug? So currently, for any bug that substantial, if you find some kind of a valid vulnerability, we will like the minimum bound is 10,000 LKR or 15,000 LKR. So if you found some kind of a valid vulnerability in a program listed in our Bug Zero platform, you would definitely get 10,000 LKRO regarding to the vulnerability itself, 15,000 or more. Like if you find a very good vulnerability, you would get more amount definitely. So other guys, do you have any questions? I think Shafraz is the only one who's asking questions. Others can ask their questions as well. Type your question in the chat. No problem. We have time. I think does Bug Zero have option that refer invite other? Actually, I know what you mentioned, like affiliate links or referrals. You can just invite others as like sharing the link, but we are not going to currently pay anything like when you are referring someone to this website. But in the sense, like if you find a vulnerability and suppose you find a vulnerability in some of our programs, and then you get some kind of reward, and then you can share that information with others as well, like, hey, I found a vulnerability in this platform and they have given me 10,000, 15,000, or 50,000, 100,000, any kind of bounty, and you can do this as well. You can mention that as well, but I don't think like we have an option to refer or send some kind of referral link. But as a suggestion, we will work on that, and we will definitely keep that on mind, like create some kind of a referral link. But for the moment, you can share our information with others. You can follow our social media and channels, and you can share the posts that we share. We constantly share posts, and we share blogs, and you can read those blogs and get some information. And we share some other people's posts as well, like in this bug bounty ecosystem, like we are not competing with each other, we are working together. So we will be sharing other bug bounty programs posts as well, like you can see if you follow our Twitter and Facebook, we are sharing other platforms posts as well. Like we all need to learn some knowledge, and we all need to find vulnerabilities and fix these vulnerabilities, because there is no point we are working against each other. So we are working with each other. So in that way, I totally agree with you. Affiliate links will grow the community and make some awareness with the community as well. Yeah, we will definitely keep this in mind, and we will work on these affiliate links. So we have around 5 minutes. I think our next presenter is ready. There is a message asking a question. How is the average salary for security engineers? I think actually I am not quite equipped to answer that question. But I will most definitely get back to you with that. We will ask around that. I cannot give you some because I'm not a security engineer, so I cannot answer to this question. But we will let's keep in contact. You can contact us via any of our channels. I will definitely will send you some kind of information to this, because you are we can we can feel that you are really interested in entering into the security engineers field, and it's a very lucrative field. And by engaging with other security engineers and learning these things, you will really become very safe in financial. Yeah, sure. Yeah, definitely. So we have, I think Isuru is ready, and we have one, his session will start 1 at 1. So we will have around 5 minutes more. We can answer any question you want. Yeah, what are the career opportunities that Bugzero have right now? Actually, we are looking for Firebase, React, Node.js, backend developers. But actually, for we have some internships. We are looking for who have some kind of an prior experience with Firebase technologies, because we are basically working with the Firebase technologies. I think I will share our. There are open jobs. We have that in the Rooster channel. There is a platform called Rooster. Give me a moment. I will share the information. We have for now actually one of the most easiest things that you can engage in Bugzero is that you can visit our blog and you can write to us. It's a very easy thing to do. You are all undergraduates, you know how to write good articles. The only thing that we are looking for is quality and original articles, because we do not want to publish something that's already been published. So you copy someone else's publication and submit it to us as your own. That we don't tolerate that. But other than that, if you cite other articles and you write your own things, we will be very highly encourage that, and you will be paid handsomely for that as well. So I will be sharing this our job board. If you think that your experience is in line with the things that we are looking for right now, you can apply with your CV. And I will share you our job as the technical writer. It's a part-time job. The thing you have to do is write blog articles, technology, cybersecurity, and software development articles at your own time. We don't have any kind of 9 to 5 or some kind of deadline. You can write your own time. You write something, you submit to us, we publish, and we give you some kind of a reward, monetary reward to encourage you to write more. We are doing this because university students are mostly they are constantly learning, they are reading other articles, but one of the best ways to do one of the best ways to learn something is by teaching others. So once you learn something, you can teach something that thing to other people, but you might not have some kind of resources like setting up a YouTube channel, buying cameras, or things like that. So you don't want to worry about that. The one of the best things you can do is write what you learn. So if you are learning React.js and building website, you can write about that like in the blog, and you submit it as while you are learning and while you are teaching, you are getting some kind of a monetary reward, like you are getting paid to do something you love. So in that way, I think you can grow yourself. That's why we are calling it Grow with Bug Zero. So I encourage you to like try this out and mention this to your friends as well. So I think we are getting, it's already 1 p.m. Isru, are you ready? Like, shall we move on to your session?
Sure.
Yeah, so I will be handing over the session to Isuru.
We'll share a screen. All right. Hello everyone. So my name is Cicero, and I'm going to today show you, give you introduction to Burp Suite, and I'm going to show you how to approach a target in approach a bug bounty target. So I'll start with what Burp Suite is. Burp is intercepting proxy tool, and it's a web pen testing framework. So what I mean by that is, so we need some kind of tools. So we need tools to test. So we don't actually need tools all the time, but it's good to have a tool. Like if we have a better tool, and then it's easier for us to like to do things, because then we don't have to write everything on our own. We can just use burp, because burp is actually have many features, and it contains other many hacking tools. It combine all of them together to actually build this single framework here. So burp also have two versions. One is paid and one is community. So you can use community edition. It's for free, and paid one is if you go more depth, and if you want to do more automation and things like that, and then you can use the paid version. But to do manual testing a lot, you can just use community edition. So also there are some alternatives if you want to work with that. There's a OSAP SAP. This is an open source, so this have most of the features that Burp has, all the important features. So you can use this as well. There are some unique features to ZAP as well. So there are also other tools like Nessus and Equinix Sticks and Infinity. These are all paid tools. Also, I want to talk about why you should choose Burp over others tools. It's also a cross-platform. You can use it on any platform, almost like any platform. It's written in Java, so therefore you can just use it on Mac, Linux, Windows, any kind of thing. And then it has a feature for like intercepting network traffics and repeat those request traffics, network traffics, intrude. I will explain all of these in the demo. So first I'm going to talk about how to set up the Burp Suite, and then I will give an introduction to what are the features in the Burp Suite. Then I'll show you how to select a bug bounty program and select a target, especially web target, and how to test vulnerabilities using Burp. And finally, I will give you some learning materials if you go into a bug boundary. So some helpful things. So to get this, so you can get Burp for free by going to the Portsfigure website, and here you can see there's a couple versions. Actually, the difference is like the enterprise edition and the professional one is they both paid, and it has a community edition. This is free. You can download it for free. Once you download and install it, it just as a regular software, you can open the web. So the thing about the community edition is that you cannot save your projects. That's one of the disadvantage here, that you cannot save your projects. You can only do a temporary project. So, and I'll show you in the last how can you do it even with the free version, how not saving, but how to take notes and everything, and still store your data. So once you got into Burp, this is the main window that you're gonna see. This is a dashboard. So the thing also in Burp Community Edition, the dashboard is, we don't use this that much because most of these things are actually for pro version. So if you have the pro version, then the web have a inbuilt vulnerability scanner. So it will while you test in the website your own, it will also test vulnerabilities in the back, then some known vulnerabilities. And yeah, so we don't need that for testing bugs. We can actually do this manually. So I will explain some of the important tabs in here. First, we have this target tab. Sorry, the proxy tab. To work with Burp, you need two things. First one is a browser. So a browser, I personally use Firefox because Firefox have a really good extensions for things like this. And yeah, so to first you need to enable the proxy in the Burp. You can go to options tab, and then you can see there's a proxy listener here, and in default this proxy is listening by default, so you don't need to change it. If in some case if it is not running, then you can go to options tab and add a new proxy, or if you want to like change the port or something, you can do it from here as well. Once you set up here, so I'll show you how to set up your browser as well. So what you need to do is now you can get a proxy extension. So I use this extension called proxy. This will allow you to send your browser traffic through the Burp. So you can download this for free and then create a proxy. You don't need actually extension as well, but sometimes like you need to the reason that you can use extension is that you can then disable your Burp anytime you want. Sometimes you don't want to send let's say you're doing some kind of payment or something, then you don't need to send that request through the Burps, then you can just disable the Burp from here, and then you can do that part and again enable the Burp. So here you just put your localhost address and the burp port, and so that's how you're going to set up that. So also you can just watch a video about like how to set up this proxy here, and it will explain it better than me here. So then I will go to once you set up this, then you can just check if it's working by just going to a website. So you can see there's a traffic keys showing in here. So these all are the HTTP traffic that is the browser is sending. So yeah, so you can see when you select a request in here, you can see the request that your browser is sending, and then the response the server is sending us back. So yeah, so in burp you can edit these requests, you can manipulate them any way you want, and you can even edit the response as well. So I will go for intercept first. So what intercept is? So intercepting request is like when you turn on, I will show you. So you can see then if I turn on this button and send some request to the server, and then it will hang it. It will hold that request. Then it will let us edit the request. We can edit in anything in here. So I can just change some values here, and then I can forward the request, and then your browser is going to get the response from that request. So that's actually really good feature. Sometimes like some features in website that, let's say there's a captcha code. So like when you like submitting a form, then there's a captcha request, and then so before you send it, you just need to capture the request and then send it, because you cannot send it multiple times because there's a captcha code there. So at that time, you can just use the intercept here, and then modify the request from there, and you can send it from there afterwards. Also, there is a WebSocket here. The WebSockets, sometimes we use WebSocket, but we don't need WebSocket that much. Some application supports it. WebSocket is used for like real-time things. So yeah, then I'll go for repeater. The repeater is where you can just anything there. So when you visit your browser request on here, this is your history, right? So let's say you wanna like, okay, there's something here. Then I visited some feature on the website, and I missed it. I missed that thing. Then so you can always go back to the history and check that request. And let's say, okay, I want to change some value in this request. So this is a GraphQL request, and I want to change something, and then I can just easily send it to repeater, and change the request in here, and send it as well. To again to send it to repeater, you can just right click in the request, and you can just click on send to repeater. And in here, it gives you this edit box, so you can edit anything on this request. Any headers, the body in the request as well. So I will not going to change anything here, because I will use our own program for this. So let's select a program from bug 0 for now. Is this? So also I want to show this thing as well. So I'll show you the how to deal with the how to use repeater and intruder while I demonstrate the actual vulnerability as well. So uh, so I'll show you how to like select a program on when you go to a bug boundary. So you can go to a platform and see there's like a so many others programs in here. So you can select any of these. So in this case, I'll select this. So you see this program only have a website. So some programs in some bug bound platforms, there are other platforms out there as well. Some programs allow you to check not only the web application, sometimes they allow you to check their Android app, and sometimes even they allow you to check on their hardware things as well. So if you take a look example for Tesla, so Tesla also have a bug bounty program. So they allow you to, if you can just break into Tesla car, if you find anything on the Tesla car or something, any vulnerability there, you can also report that as well. So yeah, that some programs actually give you really large scope. So yeah, so you can work with that. But for this demonstration, I will select this because this is a website. Um, uh, so um, also I want to show now, once you got into a program, any program, so it's not just on our platform, it's any bug bounty platforms out there. Once you select a program, you can select a program based on your interest. You can let's say you like hardware hacking, let's say you like blockchain, you like Android, anything, you can select your program based on your interest. It's up to you. So I mostly like testing on web apps and Android. So uh, so you can select that as well. So no matter what program you select, there's always something called policy. So in the always when you select a program, read the policy. Because the importance of reading policy is that sometimes like you don't go out of the track. So let's say, okay, so in policy there's in scope as well. And then out of scope, so what you should test and what you should not test. So let's say you did not read the in scope and then you go hacking on this, let's say with this website, and this only allowed this url.abuse.telescope.com. But if you go for one of their other subdomain or something, and they will not accept this report. So you're going to you spend all your time, let's say you spend 3 or 4 days or something for finding bugs in one of the other subdomains, and they're not going to accept it because it's not on the scope. So always just read the scope, it's very important. And also read these out of scope bugs. Don't report any of these as well, these bugs, unless you can like give really good impact on it. So normally we don't accept that, this program does not accept these bug types. So yeah, when you're reporting, also keep that in mind. So you're not going to spend more time on like going out of the track. So this will keep you on track. Like before you start, then you know, okay, what things I should keep that in mind when testing this program. Also, some programs also they strictly says that, okay, don't test this part. So let's say there's a payment gateway part in the web application, and then you don't, they say they, okay, don't test this part. So if you test that part, then it's out of, then it could even lead to like legal issues, because they specifically say only to use the inner scope and don't use anything other than that. uh, so once you read that and get an understand better idea of the website, you can just go to the website So in this case, is a web. Normally, this is just allow use website. So what once you got here, then you can just always like have some idea of what this website is about. This will also help you to like understand what kind of bug types that I should test on this website. So you can see this is using this is allow us to sign in and sign up. So that means I can test vulnerabilities on that area as well. Also just the best way to test is I'll explain to you. So just turn on your burp suite, and let's say you don't know this website, like you have no experience here, but that's okay. You can just also I want to mention you something important as well. There's before you start, you can always set up your in scope in burp. So you can see there's a scope here, and then you can, if you go to burp target tab and then a scope, in here you can specify your scope so you don't go out of the track. So it will capture only requests from this specific domain only. It will not gonna show you other requests that is so you can also add that. So when you actually inserting a domain here, just put a slash here because it's use a regular expression. Also you can insert things in here as regular expression as well. If you have a good match on, like, let's say you want to only uh, select a specific text in the domain or something, then you can just use a regular expression and go there. So once you select your domain scope, you can then go to your website, and then you can, what you can do is now just test things in here, see what things going to happen. So just don't think about like what vulnerabilities that you need to look for, or just first what you need to do is just scope out the website. Just go here and just surf around, just click on buttons and go to different pages here, and then understand. You don't even need to, like, sometimes just testing, sometimes you don't know actually the website is, but if you have a clear idea of what the website is, then you have a better chance of finding vulnerabilities. But if you don't, that's also fine. You can just go through the website, just click on buttons and everything, and the burp will capture all the requests that's going through. So for now, I'll disable this thing just to show you. Some issue. Okay, so for this, I will get a different one from. I will give actually show you this with the lab here. I don't know why it's not working for sure. Just give me a second. I will. So So we'll test things on here for now. So this is the testing lab for this contains a vulnerability. I'll show you. So this thing, this is just this is the website that you want to test. So one thing, what you want to do is in here, once you see the website, just click on the buttons and see what will it do. In this case, it does not have much things. But if you actually analyzing a bigger web application, there is so many pages, so many features. So it will take sometimes, like scoping a target takes like even maybe a day even, because the more you know about it, more you scope it, more you surf it around, and then you will get more, it will generate more traffic here, and then from that traffic then you can test vulnerabilities very easily. So for now I will right. Once you done, once you like feel like okay, I have gone through all the sections, so sometimes sometimes like we cannot maybe always go through the entire application. So that's why I say if you have a better understanding of the website, then you know what place to look for. So let's say I take an e-commerce website. So then I know, okay, then in this website, I have a login part, I have a sign up part, and I have a cart function. I have a payment gateways. So I can just select that specific one and then only look vulnerable, only test that part. So the methodology is just, you don't have to follow this, because this is just what I prefer, and you can just create your own methodology as well if you like. So you don't have to rely on this, you don't have to do this methodology. So what I do is, personally, when I start a website, I just do this. I go through there and I will click buttons and go to different pages in there and try to find more stuff in here. So that way I know, okay, I have a good list of requests here. So then I can use to check. So yeah, after you gotten like select some or gone through the website, you can just minimize your web browser, go to the burp, and here you can see what we need to how do we find. So it's gonna generate like a really long list of things, right? So how do you filter things out? So you can filter here by clicking on this thing, and you can filter things. You can use this to only match the scope ones, and then here you can just filter by meme types, HTML. You can just hide CSS files, images, and other things, and it will show this list. Also, if there is other extension like txt, some JSON, some kind of extension you want to hide, then you can just click this button. Also, if you want only like a specific extension, you can just click this. Then there are also all the other types. You can just filter by status code of the request. Yeah, once you've done that, then it's gonna give you like only this result. Then the also what we mostly interested in is the parameters. So the parameters is where the application is sending some parameters, and it gives some output, right? So when you see like, okay, let's say this thing send also parameter, right? So this also, so for this purpose, I will select this request, and then I will right click here and I will send it to repeater, right? So in the repeater, now I can just change things in here and then send the request and get the response for that. So how do we find bugs? But the way that you find things is, it's not like I cannot tell like this method or this method, because it's not like something that I can just like static or just like one way to find bugs. That's not how it works. It's just you just have to like keep updated. Like there's always new ways to like find look where to look for. Like let's say there's a header here, so like you can just change the header. Sometimes I've seen bugs like you can just change the one header here and then you can just command execution on the server. It's that simple. So like sometimes it's not happen all the time, but there were a bug I think in PHP, PHP 7 point for some kind of version. So there's like you can just modify just one request. Like here you can just add the payload here and then you can just get a reverse shell on the server. So yeah, so it's not just like one way. So but the one that you can use is the parameters. Parameters is always good place to start to check vulnerabilities. So in this case we has like a message parameter and it's saying unfortunately this product is out of scope. So when you see this, you can just test vulnerability for a specific. So I want first know, okay, this thing, if this get like reflected, if this part get reflected, then I know, okay, so now I know this part get reflected. So what happens if I import give something that some other specific like characters or something? See what will it do. So yeah, so in this case you can see this does not encode the special characters. So now I know this could be vulnerable to a cross-site scripting. So I can go here and then in this message I can try like script alert, and you can see this actually vulnerable to cross-site scripting. So yeah, that's how you test it. Like you need to know, of course, like you need to know like how the basic understanding of like the vulnerabilities. So like then once you go on, like then you just like know, okay, what to look for. Like okay, let's say this scenario, so why that I found it, because it just reflected the input that I gave, and then it also does not encode the the special characters. So now once you found this bug, you can just report this bug and you can still get a bounty for that, because this is a cross-site scripting, and cross-site scripting some programs accept this as high severity. So the thing about cross-site scripting is a client-side attack. So to like get a better impact on the cross-site scripting, you need to be able to like actually prove a proper impact. But some bug bound programs will allow it. Some they will of course like pay you for that. So if you find a cross-site scripting, they will pay you. But if you can like let's say there's an API key, there's an access token or something like that. So if you can get that thing, if you can get that access token, and you can just show that program, okay, I can just steal other users API keys or their cookies or something like that. So if you can get that impact, then if you will get a higher boundary rewards for that, because of that. uh so also I want to talk about is, once you found one bug in a parameter, that doesn't mean that it does not vulnerable for other vulnerabilities. So if you like, okay, then say, okay, I found a cross-site scripting and I'm done. If you say that, then you're gonna miss a lot of vulnerabilities. So in here now I'll show you another vulnerability, but I will also show you one of the features to how to test this. So the cross-site scripting, sometimes like we need to test manually, but there are some tools that you can use, but we can test this manually as well. But for the next bug, I will use intruder. So I will send this request to intruder. So how the intruder works is it just it works as a loop. So it's like a brute force attack. So if you heard of brute force attack, what it means is like let's say there's a login page and then you don't know the username or password, so you just give a bunch of username and password list, and then you select what part you want to enumerate, and then you just use a tool to like enumerate the username and password. So intruder is like a it's just like a brute force tool. So first thing you want to do is select the parameter that you want to test and then click add here, and it will add a placeholder for this, and then you need to go to payloads. So for this I created the payload for this. So this payload is to test to a specific vulnerability class called SSTI. It is called server-side template injection. So yeah, so the reason that we use intruder is that sometimes we cannot test like within one payload. So sometimes some vulnerability classes you need to use a payload list, because if I do manually, then I have to like enter these individually in the repeated tab. That will take a really long time. So that's why you use intruder. So you import the payloads into this, then you can untick this URL encode. It will not going to encode these special characters. So once you've done that, also there's another good feature here. So in this bug, what I will explain is so this bug is like let's say in like some languages, some web frameworks, they allow you to like render variables, right? So but because of some misconfiguration, it can be like it could leads to like this type of bugs. What it means is uh if I give a mathematical like equation here, and then it will, if it like does not validate it properly, then it will execute this one, and it will give me the result, and then that means it's vulnerable. So so to test this, you can go to like so here's the thing. So if I send this payload, like let's say I do 5 times 5, right? And then the request that I want to test is this one, right? So if I want to like, so I know if this is vulnerable, then it will execute and it will give like 25 because of this multiplication. But if this if I want to filter it really fast, then if I type like 25, maybe the 25 is already there. So it's really hard for me to like filter it, right? So instead what I can do is I can get some value that does not exist in this request. In this case, if I enter like 144, you can see it's not there. So which means if this intruder, if this vulnerable, and if this request contain 144, which means this key is vulnerable. So to filter it, you can go to options in the intruder, and you can then use this something called this match, and then you can add 144 here. Then whenever like this payload, if one of these hit 144 in the response, it will let me know. So so now you can see now one payload here is just shows that okay, this does report 144. So if I go here, and then you can see it gives me 144, which means this equation get executed on the server side, and then now I can play with it more. So now I go to repeater, and then I add this payload. To verify this. Right. Just, to, yeah, so I missed the present date there. Right. So now you can see this 144 is displayed. Now I can just use like another like payload for this. I'll show you. Give me a second. And if I use so now you can see, now I executed what I did here is that so I executed the system command here. So sometimes you can enter there some other character, but some program does not allow it. So at that time you need to like you just need to filter it by the payload, that you need to know exactly should be in but this time it just support like if I enter like this value, and then I can filter it by that. So now you can see this, when I executed this, it gives me this result. Now this means now I have access to the shell or the a terminal, or do you call the system. I actually own the system now because I was able to get run ID command on this system. So also when you like testing these type of bugs, like when you like say template injection is a really critical bug, because now this is like converted into an RCE. So do not like test with like a really harmful codes, like harmful ones, like let's say remove file or get some information about the system. Like even you running like ls here, it's just like still like you just getting details about the system. So you can see like here I get the list. This is also not a like good thing, because as a like a security researchers and bug bounty hunters, like we should not like access the system. Once you like have found this kind of vulnerability, you should like immediately report this, because it's enough to like, okay, you say like you just run id, you can write commands like who am I id, things like that. This will do no harm to the system, just gonna like prove that okay, we found an RCE using server-side template injection. So once you found this type of bug, immediately report it to the bug bounty program. Don't test it more without their permission. So sometimes I seen some programs allow it. Like when you report like an RCE, let's say, then you can maybe give it more impact to it. Sometimes some programs, this is not like all programs. So make sure that you do not test like that. Just run this kind of command, and if it get executed, then report it to the boundary programs, and it will pay with the highest boundary, because this is a very critical bug. So that's how you use like the two things. So you don't need to use these methods. You can go and like maybe find your own method of testing, because there's no simple way that say, okay, just use this, because that's not how it works. It's just like that's the reason of bug bounties, is to like yeah, someone asked a question. Does this command similar? Yes, this is a terminal command. So I'll show you actually. So you see, I executed the ID command and it will give me the ID, right? So it's the same command. It's like the same. So this means I actually got the shell. So it gave me like this. So yeah, this is actual system command. But okay, I think it's clear to you, the question. So also I want to say that it's not easy to like test this type of bugs in like real life websites. They will have a filter systems. They will have like protection against this stuff. So you always need to like find a way to like better payloads. So better example will be like cross-site scripting. So there are so many protection against cross-site scripting these days, and like there's a content security policies, and there's like a lot of headers, and there's a lot of filtering going on. So even the firewalls now, like CloudFront and Cloudflare, all those things block your requests. So you have to always like find like payloads for like this type of things. So it's not going to be easy to like test sometimes on like live websites, but that doesn't mean that they are, but you have to like find like a better payloads, or like yeah, so kind of like a bypasses for that. So yeah, so uh also the other tabs in this they're not much that important. I will also show you another one of the important tabs. Decoder is also important. Here you can just like type something. Let's say I type like a special character. I can then encode it in here to like, let's say I want to encode it to URL, then I can just click encode and encode it. How much processing power? Okay, how much processing power? So the thing is, the burp does require some RAM, but I don't think actually need that much memory. I think you can even use it with 512 megabytes of RAM. Even I think is, yeah. You, if you go to like, I'll show you in the extended app. There's this one show like how much system impact is made, that how much is using. Right now it says low, which means it's totally fine. You can use this on a normal system as well. Normal means like really low. I mean, I don't have like a really good spec in here as well in my system, but I can still run it. So I think mostly this uses RAM. So yeah, you can use it like in like even with the 1 GB or 512 RAM, you can even use it with that. So also the next tab I will talk about is extender. Extender is like where you just can have an extension to burp. uh, these extensions are really helpful, like so here the thing we did on the repeater, right, we did on like manually. So but with the help of these extensions, we can like do things very easily. Like we can automate things more, so we don't need to like perform those things manually and stuff. So I'll show you example. So in here, if you want to like get others extension, the other people's extension, you can go to this store here and then get it. Some of these requires a Burp Pro, but there are many extensions that is for free. You can use for free extensions here. And yeah, so also you, if you are a developer, then you can just create your own extensions for Burp. They have given some APIs, and they have given, I think there are a lot of tutorials and stuff how to like build extension for that as well. So yeah, so I will show you why should we use extensions. So like here I have like 3 extensions. So that's called content type converter. I use this for like, I want to like, when I want to like let's say okay, I will check the post request. Okay, for say I want to like, okay, let's say there's a post request and then I have this data, but let's say I want to convert this to JSON. So I have to like type it manually, right? Like I have to like convert it to manually, but I can just use this extension to like convert this to JSON. That's really helpful. And I can also use it for like convert to XML. So that's really helpful in testing. Also, there's another extension called paraminer. Paraminer is where you can like guess parameters. This is really important. Like, so the thing is, some web application does not always use all the parameters. So let's, in here you can see this is message, but there can be some other hidden parameters. So to discover those, you can use paraminer. You can just go to paraminer and guess parameters, and you can guess get parameters, cookies, headers, and even the body parameters if it is a post request. So those are the things that you might need for learning burp. There are other stuff as well, but for community edition, I think these are the features that you should learn. And if you have pro version, there is like a good vulnerability scanner here, which will, but I'm honestly, I mean, it doesn't find like that much, but still you need to do some work. There is still like scripts that you can run. There's so many things in here, like the advanced stuff. But yeah, if you have a professional version, I think it's like, I don't remember the price. I think it's $500 or something. The professional one. Yeah, 449. So you can buy this as well if you go deeper. But I think for bug boundary, you can use burp community edition. So you cannot save things, right? So what you can do is you don't need to save all of it. So let's say you found a bug. So I found a bug here, right? So let's say I found this RCE, then I can just use like some kind of Notion. The Notion is like a note taking one. Then you can like organize your, when you like go through the bug boundary, like you can organize this pretty well. Say, okay, I found this bug in here and like that. So you can like copy this request and then put it into your note. Notion is really good. I think Notion is one of the most used note taking tools. So you can use Notion and then put it into uh, a Notion a page. So then later you can like go back or test it more, or yeah, you can keep track. I think it's better than just saving into a project. It's more better because you know, okay, what parts that I have tested and all. So yeah, so that's for the burp. So I want to finally like tell you about where I can learn more, like from other hackers. Like there are so many other really good hackers out there. I can learn from them. They always like, the one that I do is I always like follow other hackers. That's one of the best way to do, is to follow other hackers on social media as well. They have social medias and Twitter especially. So also you can learn from other hackers reports. So this is HackerOne. The HackerOne is also a bug bounty program. So you can see how much like in this platform like give money. Like some reports you can see like $22,000. So yeah, this so but you have to understand this, to find this is really not that easy. It's challenging because so many hackers actually already looking for it. I think there is so many hackers actually in this platform looking for bugs, and there's a little bit of a competition there as well. So so if you want to learn how they found it, you can just go to HackerOne activity and then read their reports. So this is their reports, and in here you can learn how they actually found that bug. So you can use the same methodology on your own program. So you can just go through these reports and then select some reports, and then you can just test that report, test that vulnerability on another program, any or on a different platform, or even like let's say you read these HackerOne reports, and then you can just come to bug zero, and in bug zero you can just test it on bug zero programs. That's really good. And also our bug zero also have own zero feed, so you can learn from here as well. There is so many reports here as well. You can learn from here as well. There's disclosed report that reported by other hackers. So the thing is about the HackerOnes and all is really competitive. So yeah, that's one of the issues with that. But that doesn't mean that you can find bugs in here, but it's really competitive there in this. So second source is also, I would say this. There's another called Bugcrowd, and they have something called this vulnerability tax rating taxonomy. So this one, they listed so many vulnerability types here. So you can go through here. They just like numbered it like the most critical bugs are P1 and so on. So like they pay like these P4. So you can like go through here and get understand of what are the bug types out there, and then you can just Google them and like look for those vulnerability as well, get a better understanding of what these are. This is just one source. There are so many others as well. So that's just, also they have a methodology which is gives you another methodology just by really good other good hunters. So then also you can use this called HackerOne YouTube. This is also have some videos about how to get started and like finding vulnerabilities and stuff here. So I'll show you another good one called harmsec. It's good one as well. So you can follow this channel. This channel is also really good. They talks about different kind of topics. Down here this talk about blockchain and stuff, and this is some recon process, and they interview other hackers as well. You can watch those as well, learn from them. And if you into like CTF and stuff, I think so if you like to like hacking systems, like more into that, you can use IPSec. IPSec is really good for those things. He actually have a really good content on how to hack into systems. Really good hacker. So yeah, those are the YouTube channel. There are so many YouTube channels. You can like, Google them and find them more. But I just show like one of the known ones. So yeah, this you can go to Hamsek and like watch some videos here. You can just understand how things do. So yeah, I think also I want to show another one is a good one is remember what it is, the web academy from Portugal. It's, so the Portugal Web Academy, this one also really good. They have good materials we can learn here. They just have so many vulnerability classes here. You can just go to here, and then these all are the vulnerability classes. So you can go here and then learn from here as well. This is really good source. And then they also have a labs. So I just select this lab also from sorry, this lab I selected earlier also was from this Portugal lab. So you can just go here and practice on your own before you can test it on real targets. So you can learn from here, and that's a really good source. So yeah, so always like have, if you can like follow other hackers, like other Twitter, and on Twitter you can follow other hackers. Like if you go to, they have a Discord channel as well. I think the Nahamsek channel, they have a Discord. If you join his Discord channel, and then there are hackers there as well, you can ask question from them as well. This is like a huge community. Then you can just always learn from others and just teach them others what you know as well. So yeah, so if you have any questions, I think we have some little bit time to ask. If you have any questions, just type on chat, or you can mic can talk as well if you have any questions.
Yeah. Since this is the last session today, I would like to ask you that ask any question. We can have a few more minutes. So before we are ending this session, I will share you our feedback form with everyone. Please remember to fill this feedback form and leave your contact details with us so that we can reward you to stick with us until the end of this session. You will be contacted by us to give you some kind of swag, most definitely a Bug Zero t-shirt or some other swag. You might have seen our Bug Zero swags. So leave your contact details and once you fill the feedback form. So if you have any questions, please ask them now, or you can contact us. Yeah, we have a question?
Sorry, what are the most wanted critical service? So I think the critical ones are actually can be, there are many. So I'll tell you like some of them. So if you go to this bug crowd, this one, so you can see this says server side, any server side injection is critical, which means RCE can be an RCE, SQL injection, XML injection, any authentication bypass can be critical issues, which means any authentication means like if you can bypass any apps layer. So let's say there's an admin panel, and then if you can log into the admin panel without any credentials or without using some kind of a bypass, that is a critical bug. Sensitive data exposure means like if you can disclosure, let's say, other people's data. So like let's say their private data, their personal, even email addresses. Sometimes even email addresses, sometimes let's say even the credit card can be disclosed. So if you can find any of that, that's a P1. That's a, it means critical bug. Also there's a cryptography flaw, also really good bug if you can find, let's say let's say cookie. So there's a way that the application is signing cookies with the key. So when you like building websites, so there's a cookies and this application signing cookies with the key. And if you can, like, for example, I'm saying if you can find this key, if it is use a weak key, then you can just sign the cookies, then you can get that. And also the JWT tokens can be like, if you can find the key by brute forcing or some way, if you can find the JWT key, that would be a critical issue as well. So there are also so many other way to like get a cryptographic flow. So misconfigured DNS, sometimes I think for like um for like subdomain takeovers and stuff. So like if you can find the website, the DNS records will lead to another website that you can control or something, and that's also can be a bug. So yeah, the P1 and P2 can be actually very critical, even the P2 bugs. You can just refer here. There are so many uh, listed bugs in P1 and P2 are very considered to be very critical issues. So yeah. Do you any other question do you have? Uh,
Yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them right now, or you can contact us via our email address. Let me share the email address as again. Also, we have another session tomorrow as well. If you want to, if you have some friends who would like to refer, you can ask them to register to the tomorrow session, and they can come to the tomorrow session as well. As for the presentation slides, and the recording will be on YouTube, and the link is on the feedback form. You can see the you can access the recording after the live session is over. So once the video is processed by YouTube, it will be live, and I think once the live stream is ends, you can access the video as well. And we will be sharing the presentation slides on the YouTube videos description, and you can follow our YouTube channel and our other social media channels to obtain the PDFs of the presentations. And for any questions you have, even after this session, you can contact us via our Facebook page or Twitter, or you can send us an email, and anytime, there's no problem. And if we we can have another 5 more minutes for your questions, and then we can sum up this event, and I think that would be as the end of this session. Can have few more minutes. Yes, you're welcome. We are really happy to share our knowledge. It's our mission to engage with the community and make everyone informative about this cybersecurity and how to be secure in the internet, because we are all using the same internet. If some of us is having some kind of trouble with the internet, using internet, it will affect all of us. So we have to be knowledgeable about how to using the internet in a secure and safe way. So we are really happy to share our knowledge, and as well you can share your knowledge with us as well. Just like I mentioned earlier, you can contribute to our blog and get some rewards as well. So I think this comes to the end of our session. So I would like to thank everyone who participated in this event and our resource persons, Buddhini, Vishwa, Isuru, and everyone who make this session a success. Thank you very much for your contribution. And our dear participants, thank you very much for your energetic engagement with us in this platform. And we hope to engage with you soon in another session. So with that note, let me conclude this session, and I wish you all the best and have a nice rest of the day today. Thank you, everyone. I will end this session now.